Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Behind the Beard. As always, my name is Coleslaw. Sorry if I seem a little giddy right now, a little out of breath. I just got back from watching the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and to me, it lived up to what it needed to be. I'll go ahead and say this right now, even though I'm going to be posting it in about everywhere I post this video. There are going to be spoiler alerts in this video of what happened at Money in the Bank, so if you have not gotten a chance to see it, pause the video right now, watch Money in the Bank, and come right back. I will still be here, and trust me, it was very much worth the effort. So I'm going to just kind of go match by match. Obviously, I do want to get off the top right now that CM Punk did win his match, and to me, it seems like now that confirmed that he did sign back with the company. But let's go ahead and just start at the top with everything that just went on, because we definitely had a roller coaster of a night. The first match was the SmackDown Money in the Bank, which I was pleasantly surprised by the result of this. Going into this match, I had Sheamus winning the match, with the hope that maybe Cody Rhodes would. Honestly, until I saw all the entrances, I had almost completely forgotten that Daniel Bryan had been put in the match. Now, I'm not saying I'm not a Daniel Bryan fan. Obviously, I'm a huge Daniel Bryan supporter. I've watched him since he was Bryan Danielson. I loved his matches on the first two ROH events. It's just that kind of he'd been pushed to the background so much that I didn't really see him being much of a factor in here. So obviously him winning the match was a pleasant surprise to me. So definitely, I think he's going to be one of those that cashes the Money in the Bank in a little later than what people have been doing lately, because obviously they need to do some building up of Daniel Bryan before they can have him go for the title. The only unfortunate thing I can see out of this is I can also see there being a huge possibility of either them doing what they did with Mr. Kennedy and having him lose the briefcase to someone else, or there's also the possibility of Daniel Bryan being the first guy to win Money in the Bank and not go on to win the title. I'm hoping for the best. I would like to see Daniel Bryan handle a title and show everyone how he would handle being the top guy in WWE. So definitely, cheers, Daniel Bryan. Let's hope for the best. The follow-up to that was a Divas match. It happened. No one cares. So, on to the next match, which, if I'm remembering correctly, sorry if I get these the order of the matches wrong. I'm not perfect. I believe the next one after that was the Mark Henry Big Show match. Now, obviously, Mark Henry lately has been the monster he should have always been. He's obviously always had the World's Strongest Man gimmick since he's been in WWE, and except for that little off thing to Sexual Chocolate, that's how he's always been built. But he's never really gotten a chance to be the monster he could be. He did pretty well when he was the ECW champion, but to me, lately, he has stepped it up to where it should have been a long time ago. And so definitely I was interested in how this match was going to go with the Big Show. And it pretty much went the way I expected. It wasn't the most exciting match in the world, but it definitely served its purposes. And plus also at the end, basically, Mark Henry broke Big Show's ankle, so I'm guessing Big Show's kind of taking a break, which you got to feel bad for his leg. First, Ricardo Rodriguez hits it with the car, and now Mark Henry breaks it with the chair, so definitely going to see where that goes. I'm kind of interested to see what Mark Henry's going to do next, when he's going to get a chance to go for the title. So definitely that's going to be interesting. Then after that was the Raw Money in the Bank, which that one, as you know from my previous video, I called it. Alberto Del Rio ended up winning the match. I really did think he was going to cash in Money in the Bank just by the fact that he barely did anything during the entire match. Really, honestly, to me, the SmackDown one was a lot better than the Raw one, because I can remember a few things from the SmackDown one, especially like Sin Cara with Sheamus, which I'm wanting to see what happened with that, because Sin Cara, what I noticed after he went through the ladder, he was like really shaking, so I'm worried if he like just had a stinger or if something more serious happened. But the Raw match was pretty by the book. It wasn't the worst Money in the Bank they've had, but it wasn't anywhere near the best. But as I said, Alberto Del Rio won that, which I expected, which it plays a little bit of a factor later, but not as big as I think. I'll get into that when I get into the main event. Then after that was the Randy Orton and Christian match, which I hate when they do these kind of endings to the match. Obviously, they had that stipulation where if Randy Orton got disqualified, that Christian would win the title. And of course, Christian caused Randy Orton to get disqualified and he won the belt. But the beatdown afterwards made up for it. This is the Randy Orton I love seeing. I like seeing Randy when he is completely out of his mind. This should be the one that every pay-per-view, if not every SmackDown we see, just like he completely comes unhinged and ends up destroying Christian. So definitely this is going to be interesting. For SummerSlam, I see a hardcore style match going on between Christian and Randy, and I see Randy retaining the title, but hey, that also means that Christian's going to hold the belt for more than 5 days, like his previous one, but still not that great a title reign. So definitely with all that, we go into the main event, which obviously is CM Punk versus Cena. Obviously, they set up on the previous Raws that CM Punk would be leaving the company with the title if he wins, and on top of that, Cena would be fired. And just to let you know, CM Punk won the match. To me, this sets up right away that he did, in fact, sign back with the company, because I do not see Vince letting another Medusa incident come up, which, if for you wrestling fans that don't know, she was the women's champion like a long time ago, and she left WWE and went to WCW, and basically on air threw the women's title in the trash. That which played a big part in the Montreal Screwjob with Bret Hart, because Vince was worried he'd do the same thing. Well, obviously they started teasing a Screwjob towards the end, but they had John Laurinaitis, which this was the first time I've seen him on TV. I've not seen him at all. I didn't even see him when he was with the Dynamic Dudes. That's going old school right there. But he runs down to the ring to try to get them to ring the bell and say CM Punk submitted. Cena runs out to the ring, punches Laurinaitis in the mouth, goes back into the ring, go to sleep, Punk's the champion. First off, let me just talk about the match in general. This was the closest I've ever gotten to a heart attack. Before that, it was during the WrestleMania with the match between Triple H and Undertaker. This one, I almost had a heart attack, but the other guys at the table almost did too. So I wasn't the only one. Obviously, with it being in Chicago, the crowd was very pro CM Punk, and the thing was, where I watched it, they were very pro CM Punk too. I heard a few "Cena's" around there, but mostly it was people wanting to see Punk, which I'm not going to try to comment on what that could possibly mean. That's my own thoughts of just my noticings on all that. Then, just to let y'all know, at the end of the match, they start to tease Alberto Del Rio coming in and cashing in Money in the Bank. Vince calls for Alberto. Alberto hits the ring. Punk kicks him right in the face and knocks him down. Runs to the audience, holds up the belt. My critique of the match, it started off very slow, but then, of course, it built up later. It had a very back-to-forth nature, which would explain the near heart attack. Definitely, to me right now, it's one of my Match of the Year candidates. I don't know if it's going to win Match of the Year, but definitely it's up there. Overall, Money in the Bank is definitely a good pay-per-view. I plan on getting the DVD when it comes out. So now we got questions leading out of here up to a SummerSlam. Like I already said with Orton and Christian, I see a hardcore style match going on with those two. But now the question comes in, what's going to be going on with Daniel Bryan? Obviously, like I said, there's going to be a building up period. I think what's going to be is just over the next year, anytime there's a heel champion, everyone's going to be like, is Daniel going to be cashing in the Money in the Bank now? Because I really do not see him making a heel turn. I saw a little bit of a time when he was a heel in ROH, and just something didn't feel right. Maybe I need to watch the whole angle to get what's going on, but just something about it just did not feel like what it needed to be when I saw that. So definitely going to see him face. As I said, I want to see what Mark Henry's going to end up doing now that he's basically destroyed a Big Show. So definitely looking forward to that. And obviously the big question is, what's the status with the WWE title? CM Punk, even though, like I said, by this point we can consider that he has signed back with the WWE, he's obviously going to be off TV for a while. He's already said it. I've heard in a interview with a GQ, he's kind of hinted that maybe about 3 months. It's probably going to be a little longer. Like I said, I see Royal Rumble, him coming back. But obviously, we need to have a champion in that time. And plus, also, keep in mind the Cena fire stipulation. Is this going to be one of those cases where Vince does fire Cena and he comes back and basically wreaks havoc? Or is this going to be one of those things where Vince decides to torture him? And what's going to happen to Albert, since Vince obviously wanted him to cash in Money in the Bank? And, well, obviously, if you've seen the pay-per-view, you've seen how that's gone. So definitely a lot of questions going into SummerSlam. This is the biggest post WWE pay-per-view of the year. So definitely we're going to be seeing some interesting developments going into it. So what is everybody's thoughts on Money in the Bank? Did it live up to the hype? Did it not live up to hype? Did everything with CM Punk that you thought would happen lead to a logical conclusion? Did you like John Cena's actions to make sure it tried to stay a fair match? What did you think of the matches going on? What do you think of Daniel Bryan up to this point? What do you think of any of the guys that wrestled tonight? What did you think of the women's match, if you have an opinion on that? Definitely, as always, comments. The viewership has gone down a little bit, but I'm not too worried about that because I do have that hardcore set of people that are watching them. They're giving comments. Definitely, I want to hear comments. And if you have some friends that are into stuff that I'm talking about, definitely don't be afraid. Send them my link. Let them know that, hey, this guy seems to have some good opinions. Just kind of check it out. Definitely, like I said, I'm going to try to do some new things with this video. The big thing is going to be I'm going to try to get an actual camera. This has all been done through webcam up to this point, so I'm going to try to get that. And I want to get some editing software, just besides making this a little easier on me, so I can get rid of some of the warts on this. I can start doing little images things. I might put a header at the front of the video, maybe have a little song or something. Definitely, I got some major plans for this show. I'm hoping probably soon I'm going to start turning it into a weekly show. So then definitely y'all will know when to turn in and all that. So definitely keep an idea on what's going on and keep watching us. Keep watching the WWE. So with all that, this has been Coleslaw with Behind the Beard. And that's my opinion. You don't like it? Form your own.